Welcome to Critic. This is PS4 guide reviews and today we're covering Ghostrunner. I can't wait to talk about this game, so let's not waste any time and get straight into this. This most definitely is one of the best, most fun, adrenaline-fueled games I've played this year. Without a doubt, I would recommend to anyone who has the patience to enjoy it. Now, I won't lie, Ghostrunner is an intense game. Easily one of the most difficult I've played this year. This is because Ghostrunner is designed as an arcadey trial and error game, like the Trials games, but instead of bikes, it's first person action. With this then comes these exhilarating levels, stupendously well designed, with a glorious gallery of enemies and obstacles in your way that all add to the momentum of the game, rather than slowing and bogging it down like in Mirror's Edge, which one may draw comparisons to within Ghostrunner. Ghostrunner also comes with a fabulous instant respawn mechanic that when you die, and trust me, you will die hundreds and hundreds of times, but with Ghostrunner's generous amount of checkpoints, instant respawn, you will be back into the action within milliseconds and not far behind where you last was. Ghostrunner actually reminded me more of like a first-person cyberpunk Prince of Persia. The way you're using time to combat certain obstacles, being able to slow it down with the press of the L1 button, which also acts as a dash. Or how all the levels are you climbing up a huge tower just like you do in the Sands of Time. All that this game changes is the sheer speed of it. Wall running is fast and responsive, bouncing between walls is quick and swift, sliding down slopes or under projectiles is responsive, sliding on rails, riding on these enemy drones, and then you've got the Gap Jammer, a wrist device that basically acts as like a grappling hook. But this is used so damn well within the game's traversal and level design, and is thoroughly satisfying due to how smooth and easy it is to use. When it comes to the combat, one hit is all it takes to kill your enemies and for your enemies to kill you. And whilst your foes all have guns and large metal fists, you just have a katana. One swipe can kill anything, sounds easy, but when the bullets start firing in your direction, when the metal arm dudes are launching towards you, or the heavies are blasting multiple projectiles at once, it can feel near impossible. This is where Ghostrunner excels, in making you feel like a complete and utter badass, as within the beautiful environments, you'll have all the walls and jump points you'll need to overcome your foes. It'll take dying multiple times to familiarize and coordinate your moves, sure, but once you clear the area and move on, you'll feel like you've just overcome the impossible. And very rarely have I felt this much of an adrenaline-fueled adventure before, one that keeps its speed and difficulty in check at all times. Because usually games that try too hard to be difficult just feel unfair and unbalanced, you just give up, throw it away and never come back to it again. But not here. And one of Ghostrunner's best traits is the way it introduces new game mechanics, new platforming challenges, and new enemies to you a level at a time. This also keeps the game feeling refreshing, as you'll not see the same tropes over and over. In terms of level design, you'll start off with your standard wall running phases, then further on you'll start to get use out of your grappling hook, then after that you'll start seeing sliding sections, then the next level will have your rail sections, then after that the wall runs will have deadly electricity passing through them, and then after that you'll have these big motors on the sides of walls that you have to hack into and stop for you to platform around them. And then after that, and I could go on all day, and that's just how creative and unique Ghostrunner's platforming sections are. And the fluidity of bending and jumping between all these different ideas, the responsiveness and agility of the controls and camera, and then the fast-paced one-hit kill combat really makes the whole experience feel like the opening CGI cutscene when you see the Ghostrunner slashing through the cyberpunk city. See how smooth and nuanced this animation looks? Well, this I think is the only time ever that I've been confident in saying that the CGI opening to a game is a perfect depiction of how it feels to play. You know how many times when in the cutscenes, the game always looks better than the gameplay. Well, here, they feel one and the same, and that is how astonishing the gameplay truly is. You unlock new abilities as you go through the game. First is Blink Mode, which is like a bullet time ability that lets you target enemies in a row and slash them through at once. It also applies to bullets. You get that one that lets you push enemies away like a Jedi, one that sends out a large slash projectile, and the fourth ability lets you turn an enemy onto your side. Now these abilities are cool, but I think the real players here are the enemies. Now yeah, there's nothing majorly special about these guys, but it's just how your skills and agility work so well against the foes that each one really is a good foe to fight. Except one. Now, you've got your basic pistol guys. These are fun to slow time, dodge their bullets, slash their heads off, or even better is to equip the repel projectile skill in the skill table, which we'll come on to later, and then send their bullets back to sender with a well-timed counter. You've got your heavy dude with a machine gun. They like to think they're tough, but wait for them to reload and boom, they're dead. Then the metal arms that lunge at you. Simple, dodge their move, slash them in two. Then you got guys with energy shields, use your grapple hook to get behind them, stab them in the back. Then you got wardens. These are my favourite enemy. Why? Because they're just like you, only have a katana. You're going to want to wait for them to dash at you, parry their attack at the right time, then go in for the kill. Easily the most satisfying guys to kill. Drones jump on their back. Snipers stay behind cover. Here 2 clicks with these guys' sights on you and it's instant death. What you want to do is work around the environment and kill them swiftly. And each level that these guys appear in are so well designed that these are nice swift enemies to kill off. Wrecks, these little scrambling guys, they're explosive. So you're going to want to keep away from these ones long enough until they explode out of your vicinity. Definitely though, these are the foes that could have been cut out if this game gets a follow-up. See, I never felt like there was any skill in killing these guys because even after they blow themselves up, I don't feel any accomplishment from that, from running away from this foe. And when they kill you after crawling around a corner, they were the most frustrating deaths I had. Feel quite a bit unfair, but the best thing is almost all of the other enemies keep up the pace of the game and are well countered by your moves and agility. Now let's talk about the skill table. Yes, it's Tetris blocks. It's a really cool way of adding skills to your character without making them too powerful, but also giving the player freedom on how much they can equip. Instead of reaching just a number limit, it's how much can you fit into the table depending on what skills you actually want and what shape they are. Very intuitive and unique, really likes this. It gave me that kind of like Resident Evil 4 feeling. Very cool. Ghostrunner is set in a dystopian cyberpunk world. A world full of grimy settlements, a world where daylight comes in the form of neon signs hanging from the sides of backstreet derelict housing. Rainwater populates the pavement more than the patter of footsteps, and the bright fast food stalls stand idle in the darkest corners of the city. Ghostrunner's soundtrack juxtaposes this gorgeous, grimy world with its electric and futuristic tracks that add to the pace of the movement and flow of combat. Really, I ended up having only a few gripes with this game. First, the story really is difficult to follow, and that's not down to it being a convoluted story. It's down to the fact that all the game's dialogue pushing the story along is during the gameplay. Dialogue that resets every time you die, and you die a lot, so you hear the same lines being repeated over and over. But it's hard to concentrate on what's happening and who these characters in the background are when you're focused on the incredibly tricky platforming and action of the game. I'm more focused on how I'm gonna wall run over here, run around shield dude, kill him, whilst also dodging 2 pistol grunts and avoiding the crawly explosive guys chasing after me, rather than listening to what's happened to the people of this world. I think some cutscenes after the really intense sequences could have added some breathing room and made the narrative a lot clearer. Also, more of the CGI opening wouldn't have disappointed me. That was beautiful. More complaints I have are like the large amount of frame rate slowdown the game has in the super chaotic portions. It also comes with a few bugs, like one time my right analog stick could only look left and right, not up and down, and the game crashed twice on my playthrough. The wreck enemies, you know, the crawly explosive dudes, just weren't the fun to face at all. They don't challenge you in a satisfying way, they just get the jump on you at the wrong times, and there's nothing you can really do except let them explode and kill you. Finally, I think some parts of the levels just needed a little fine tuning so they are somewhat completable in less tries. I know that the devs were going for, once you beat this level or this area, you're gonna feel like you've overcome the most impossible feats, and there's plenty of times it feels that way, and that's what I love about Ghostrunner. But other times it can feel more like the level design is against you, and not always in the best way. You press the right buttons, but it's just not good enough because you need your timing to be so pristine, and this ends up causing more frustration than is needed. Overall, Ghostrunner is one of the most satisfying first-person action games I've played since, I think, Titanfall 2. The speed and flow of the levels in combat is so well crafted and adrenaline fueled that once you overcome that tough section you've been stuck on, you'll feel like the most badass cyborg ninja since Raiden from Metal Gear. The boss battles in this game have had so much satisfaction overcoming, especially the fellow cyborg ninja lady. Definitely one of the best sword slashing duels I've ever played. This is a 6 to 8 hour single player game that's only £25. It's definitely worth your time if this looks like it's up to your alley. A game with so many ideas, a game that nails that one aspect, and a game that has a style and charisma to it that shines out the rest of the games currently on the market. But it's not flawless. I still think there's a lot here that can be ironed out. An enemy that I wouldn't have minded if it stayed in the concept phase. A narrative that could have been more in the forefront, and some more modes of play also could have went a long way. Still, it's very much worth your time and attention, and I give Ghostrunner my high score of an A for awesome. Well done, guys. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time on Critic. Adios.